Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, I'll be cutting and sewing this very sim skirt that you can see on your screen. If you're interested, keep on watching and let's get started. So for this tutorial, I made use of a cotton fabric and I used 1.5 inches. So I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into 4 because I want to cut both the front and the back together, and I left my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches at the back. Okay, so my fabric is folded into 4. The one underneath is the one that has the zipper allowance, that is the back, and the one on top is my front. Okay, the center front is on fold, as you can see. So my zipper allowance is 1.5 inches. Okay, so go ahead and fold your fabric using your hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra 4 inches or 5 inches, because we need the skirt to be loosed on the hip area just so you'll be able to get that drape that you can see in front. Okay, so the next thing you do is to mark your skirt length. Mine is about 34 inches, as you can see. So I'll go ahead and start placing my measurements. So I'll place my measurement backwards from this point where I have my zipper allowance and the center front on fold. That is where I'm going to start taking my measurement. And as you can see, my tape is on my center front. I didn't extend the tape to the zipper allowance because that is our allowance for the zipper. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is to place my waist circumference divided by 4. The waist circumference I'm working with is 33, divided by 4 is 3.5 inches. I indicated that, and then I add 1 inch for my stitching allowance on the waistline. The next thing I did was to go down from the waistline by 9 inches, which is going to be my hip line. My hip line is 9 inches because this is an high waist skirt. Okay, and this skirt does not have a band. Okay, so on that 9 inches, I'm going to place my hip circumference divided by 4 plus 5 inches. So the hip circumference I'm working with is 40 inches. 40 plus 5 inches is 45 inches. I now divided the 45 inches by 4. Okay, so that is what I placed on the hip line, and I added my stitching allowance of 1 inch. Okay, so you are going to plus this 5 inches to your hip measurement before you divide it by 4. I hope you understand. So the next thing I did was to connect from the hip line down to the skirt length. Okay, I'm connecting like an A shape. Okay, so the base is going to be free. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and cut. After cutting, this is what I have, guys. The next thing I'll do is to notch my zipper allowance just so I know where to fix my zipper. I'll do that on the waist area. I'll also do that on the base of the skirt, and then I'll remove the back and work on the slit for the front. So guys, this is my front fabric and it's still folded into 2. Okay, so I ironed my center front so I know where the center front is. So the next thing I'll do is to create my slit. So if you want your slit to be at the center, you can just slash through the center, but my slit is on the side. So what I'll do is to go out from the center by half of my nipple to nipple measurement. Half of the nipple to nipple measurement I'm working with is 4 inches. So I'm placing my tape on the center front and I'm marking 4 inches, as you can see me doing. After doing that, I'll connect into a straight line. So guys, next thing I'll do is to slash through the straight line. Okay, so I'm going to open it up, but before I do that, I'll figure out where I want my slit to start from and where I want it to stop. So from the waistline, I went down by about 20 inches. I indicated the 20 inches. That is where I want my slit to start from, and the length of my slit is about 14 inches. So from that 20 inches downward, what I have is 14 inches. That is how long I want the slit to be. So go ahead and determine how long you want your slit to be. Okay, so what I'll do is to pick one side of the fabric. I'm not cutting on both fabric. Okay, I'm cutting on just one side. I'll slash all through to meet the 20 inches. After doing that, this is what I have. I'll open my fabric up. So if we leave this slit like this, is not going to be open. So I just want to give it a little curve. So you don't have to mark this, all you have to do is to freestyle it, but make sure you don't cut it out too much, because the more you cut, that is how open your slit is going to be. So just look at the way I'm cutting mine. After cutting out this side, this is what I have. I'll also go ahead and cut out the other side. So guys, next thing I'll do now is to go ahead and hem this slit area. So you can hem, you can pipe it using your bias. You can also go ahead and fold it and iron it down with your hemming gum, so whichever one works for you. Okay, so just go ahead and close up this slit area. And on the waistline, like I mentioned earlier, this skirt does not have a band, so I'm using this as a facing. I'm just going to sew, and I'll use my hemming gum to turn it to the other side. Okay, so I've gone ahead to do that, guys. This is what I have for the slit. I went ahead to cut out my fabric, and I used it to just hem it all the way around. So after doing that, just go ahead and iron it flat. For the waistline, I went ahead to use the fabric that I cut out as my facing. I sewed on it, and then I turned it to the right side, and I used my hemming gum on it. I just ironed it flat. Okay, so I repeated the same thing for the back too, and this is what the front looks like. You can see how my slit is looking. Okay, this is my back piece. I've gone ahead to also iron the waistline in place. Okay, as you can see, there is no stitch on the waistline. So the next thing I did was to place the two back pieces on each other, right side facing right side. I'll go ahead and sew, and I'll fix my zipper in place. I've done that, guys, and this is what I have. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to hem the base, because I've already hemmed the base of the front while I was hemming my slit earlier. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hem the base of the back using 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to place the back and the front right side facing right side, and I'll use my stitching allowance of 1 inch, 1 inch to sew on both sides of the skirt. So guys, I'm done sewing both sides. I went ahead to give it a good press. So this is what it looks like. You can see the waist area. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to drape. Okay, so there are no rules to how to drape at all. Okay, so it depends on how you want it. Okay, so you can go ahead and pick it one after the other, and then you pleat and sew. You can start from the waistline to the slit, and you can start from the slit to the waistline, depending on what you want. Okay, what I'm doing now is using my needle and thread to pick one after the other, as you can see me doing, from the slit area to the waist. After doing that, I'll drag everything together. Okay, you can drape like this, but the only issue with this type of drape is that your lap is going to be outside. If you don't mind, you can drape like this. Just arrange everything in place, use your needle and thread to just tack everything together, and then head over to your sewing machine and stitch on the straight line. That is all about this drape. Another way to also drape is to just head over to your sewing machine. Okay, mark on that slit line, mark it on a straight line, and then go ahead and just pleat. So you pleat from the waistline down to the slit area, and you are going to determine how big you want the pleat to be. If you want it tiny, you can make it tiny. If you want it big, you can make it big. Okay, whatever you do, make sure your pleat is sitting on that slit line. So I've gone ahead to just freestyle mine, and this is what I have. After doing that, just go ahead and stitch on a straight line. Okay, I've stitched mine, and this is what I have. Okay, the next thing I'll do is to just give my skirt a good press, and that is all for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.